Trash wars took center stage at the Minnesota Supreme Court Tuesday as St. Paul residents packed the courtroom and watched on an overflow monitor. Attorneys argued whether city leaders can deny the people a vote on how their trash is collected. St. Paul residents used to choose which garbage company they use, and they'd negotiate their own rates. But the city took away that choice, switching to organized pickup with flat rates. Well, some people are happy that there's less garbage truck traffic in their neighborhoods, but others are upset that the rates went up and they no longer have that choice.
Those costs are double of what they were. That's an unreasonable and ridiculous and unnecessary burden on taxpayers, and we need to end it.
Citizens gathered enough signatures to put the question on the ballot in November, but the St. Paul City Council rejected the petition because they argue they've signed a contract with the trash companies for the new system and they can't break that contract. Plus, they say they received positive input from citizens during the process.
And that's what prompted the city to look at going to organized collection in the first place.
The citizens' rights to referendum are just being steamrolled by the city.
Supporters of the referendum left the oral arguments energized by the justices' tough questions for the city's lawyer.
There is no language in any of those statutes that you've cited that says the citizens shall have no right to petition for a referendum.
And they expect a ruling in time for the potential November vote to take place. And this whole legal process has actually been expedited so that there can be a ruling in time for that potential ballot referendum. The St. Paul City Council will discuss this issue at its meeting on Friday at 4:30. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Lou.